So presenting the discussion, NFTs, comedy, and the future of funny, please welcome to the stage Harmon Leon and Todd Montesi.
How's everyone? Good? Oh, come on. That's a Web 2 response. I want a Web 3 response. How is everyone? There we go. Thank you very much. My name is Harmon Leon. I am a filmmaker. I'm a digital artist. I'm a comedian. I'm a journalist for Super Rare, and I am very pleased to, first of all, is it a great conference, everyone? But I'm pleased to present this panel on NFTs, comedy, and the future of funny.
Yeah.
Woo! And without further ado, let's meet our panelists, have them tell a little bit about themselves. Let's go with you, Todd. What brought you to come? Do we sit or we stand?
Do we sit or stand? I guess we're
Stands
sitting
up
down.
or
No,
sitting
Let's
down?
have a
Sitting
space
down.
in between.
One,
I'll
two, one,
stand
two.
up to introduce myself,
yeah.
and then I'll sit down. How about that? Is that a good
So
plan, guys? Is that
Todd,
good?
tell us about what brought you to the NFT
Yeah.
space and the world of comedy.
Well, basically, I am a comedian, also a filmmaker, content creator, and I've been into NFT space for a couple of years now, combining that with my web series PN and Friends, where we're pitching the first metaverse-ready sitcom, where basically we're using NFTs to have our fans and followers engage with our show, also to co-collaborate with us, and also get ongoing gifts. So basically, we use NFTs as a fun thing, because they're fun. That's what we're trying to do. And, you know, I know there's been a lot of, like, jargon, which like, oh, smart contracts, oh, the banking, scalability. Dude, it's fun. Have fun! Jesus Christ, right? Guys, do you guys like fun or? Yeah, right?
All right,
Right.
Todd Montesi,
One,
and
two,
let's
one,
go
two.
down the panel here.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Mikael. I'm the co-founder of Twisted Mirror, the comedy streaming service developed in multiple platforms, including obviously smart TVs and metaverse. So why should we explore the comedy NFTs? To get this new experience, to experience in a new way comedy, because we all love to be entertained, but we experience obviously live comedy gigs, we experience TV, we experience streaming services all around, but now it's time to experience NFTs. NFTs, I think it would be the new art form. So either you are comedy fans and you want to back up your favorite comedian by buying a comedy NFT. Comedy NFT could be a punchline, could be a photograph, could be an autograph, anything, So we are here to, obviously we're going to talk about that, but I think it's the right time now to get into that Web3 community with a bit of fun.
Yeah, so let's throw this out to the panel. So, humor is a big part of the NFT space, funny memes, funny, humorous digital art. Why hasn't the niche of comedy taken off yet as a music, music NFTs?
Can I bring it up?
Yes, you can.
I feel like people are still afraid about NFTs. I feel like a lot of comedians just want to follow like what everyone else is doing, and they're not experimenting. Like back in the classic days, like the 80s, the 70s, comedians were the vanguards of like what's new, what's out there. And like I feel like now there's a lot of skittishness and not a lot of people thinking like, wait, what can I do with this new genre, of this new like adaptability? How can I make this like not just work for me, but also work for my followers and friends? And I think we need to bring that back. I feel like, especially with the pandemic, where everyone was like closed down, what's great about the Web3 space is that these people actually had hope and they wanted to build something. I feel like that's what makes us great here. You guys want to build things, and that's what made it fun. That's why people went on Clubhouse, people went on IG Live, people all did all this stuff about collaboration. And with that spirit, I was like, oh, wow, this is fun collaborating with other people. Like, why not incorporate them into it? Like fan fiction. Why not have like say Game of Thrones? Why not have like the fans also collaborate with like the creator to make an even more fulfilling story? I mean, that's what mythology was all about. Back in the days with our ancestors, there was like a base story, but then they added their own like personalities into the mythology, and then it just built, and then it made the stories even more richer for the human experience and all of us today. So why not bring that element back? That's how I see what NFTs and my particular form of comedy, where it's like filmmaking and creative content and building through that. That's where I see like, oh, this is great. This makes sense, So I feel like with comedians, I feel like there's a lot of like people closing themselves to the opportunities, but it's slowly but surely people are seeing like, oh wait, I could do this. This is something unique I could do. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you think people are getting right or not getting right so far in the comedy space in NFTs?
I think, like, because I hosted some comedy nights myself, so I know how, how to book comedians and all that. And people love live stand-up comedy shows. We're very reluctant onto technologies in general. So I think, we've seen obviously the film, then TV sitcoms, in the 90s. So I think now the new way now of experiencing comedy would be the NFT. Obviously, people love going to comedy gigs, live gigs. So I think we need to make sure that people are not afraid of that word, NFT, And I think we need to be all together, and not train them, but, educate everyone who loves comedy, because I think the Web3 would offer a multitude of experiences, across the board. And we've seen today, actually, the music industries, getting to the Web3, then the fashion. Now it's time to bring comedy in it.
Yeah, but I see also just in music, it makes sense because you can make a song in NFT, but making, say, a punchline in NFT, to me, I'm still like wrapping my brain around that, why that would have value, or, if it's like, is it like something like a collector, you would get and buy it for someone who's up and coming, and then they explode, and it's like, oh, I got the band's first signal, and now they're, taking off.
Yes.
See, here's my thing. It's like I'm a collector. I've collected comic books. I collect video games. I've done all that stuff. People need to look at what collectors are thinking. Why would the collectors want that? And usually what they would want is say scarcity, where it's no one else has it. So say if you're Chris Rock or Dimitri Martin and you come out with a comedy album and you have some extra jokes that you haven't put in the album, maybe you could make it a creative NFT project where it's all right, here's 20 extra jokes. You could put it up for auction, sell that, maybe for charity or this and that. And then you have one unique comedic art piece that no one else has of a Chris Rock or a Dimitri Martin. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's an angle that will be in the future when people realize oh, I could do some fun, funky stuff with this, But also I could see it, again, the regular aspect of oh, this comic's on the come up, he's selling NFTs, maybe I could buy one of these as a trading card, as a base form. But there needs to be something with it too. There needs to be an element of utility for that to make sense. You know what I'm saying? At least in my opinion.
Yeah, and also on the other side of the spectrum, you're gonna have the comedy routines being reshaped by NFTs, because obviously people when cinema, when sound appeared in the film as a new technology, so people started to write dialogues and all that. So I think when comics would experience the NFTs as a new art form, so I think comedy routines would change forever, and I think at the end, you would create immersive comedy clubs experiences, so people would be able to experience comedy clubs in a virtual space. So then the storytelling would change as well.
Yeah, I think just in general is how can live performance be more NFT incorporated, the act of live performance? I mean, I could see you can make the tickets NFT to an event, and then you go, you have a collectible keepsake of the event. And again, it adds value if the comedian takes off, and then you say, look, I have this ticket of his first concert or something like that.
Well, again, I don't want to shill my own project, but on Friday at DLT Lounge, we're going to do a Web3 show where we're actually going to do that.
Yeah, Brian. Anyone excited about that?
Yeah.
Guy in the front row, guy in the back.
Exactly.
Couple people back there. Excited about that.
But I've always wanted to do a talk show where the fans can interact with me as a host. To have them as my guest host, and we could do that with NFTs. You could curate the people who are collaborating with you, and not have a bunch of spam bots or a bunch of bad trolls. You could actually build a community and build that the characters in the community in a healthy way. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Howard Stern. Howard Stern had his Whack Pack in New York. He's a big radio guy in America. He had a Whack Pack, a crew of radio listeners that would contribute to his show, in a funny way. Now imagine if he used NFTs and like he could expand a whack pack from like say 10 people to like 10,000 wacky people that he could draw from to like collaborate with him, and they also get rewarded with that because they have like a game piece that they've built up. Like there's a cachet with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. I feel like with NFTs, it could expand the idea of like collaboration and live multimedia like fun. You know, like it needs to happen, especially when it's 2022. It's not 2002. Why are we still doing 20th century shit? Okay, pardon my French, but like, why are we not doing 21st century shit? It's a bear market. Everything's depressing. Let's be optimistic. Let's do fun, dope shit. That's why I'm saying let's do that with NFTs.
Yeah. So I mean, you're mentioning about different types. There's like being the collector, collectible, but also engagement. How do you see more engagement with comedy and NFTs?
I think people
become like if for a TV show or for your particular favorite comedian or whatnot.
Because I think most of the people when you bring the NFT into that comedy space, people are afraid saying, oh, but like if you are doing hosting some comedy clubs in the metaverse, or if you collect NFTs, no one will come over to any live gig anymore. I believe in the hybrid exhibition mode. So at the end, you're gonna have the choice. So if you are, for example, a comedy fan, if you like, for example, Friends or Seinfeld, you would like to maybe collect one NFT from Jerry Seinfeld, or if you want to back up your friend who started off his stand-up comedy career, then you can back him up as well, or back her up. And I think at the end of the day, like you said, Todd, it's about collaboration. So we should not be afraid of like being, in partner with somebody else who has better skills, And also about the smart contracts and all that. A lot of people are afraid, for example, in the comedy space, to when you get when you write a punchline, people are saying, "Oh, it's my punchline," but that guy, twisted a bit, and like he got.
So it's a way to show like ownership of like the
so
joke.
Like, at the end of the day, if you copyright, within the smart contract, within the blockchain, your punchline, you would know that, for example, it's Todd joke, it's not Mikael jokes, and that at the end it's gonna be good, for comedy fans and for the comedy producers.
Can't wait for punchline lawyers. Excuse me, sir. He had this punchline via the blockchain for 10 years. How dare you?
Yeah, so you were mentioning the bear market. Do you see the bear market? Again, that eliminates a lot of hype. Do you think, will that clear different paths for comedy and NFTs?
I think with the bear market, now's the time to fucking create and do dope shit. That's it. I mean, that's always the case. The real ones are here. All those fake. And that's the thing, too, man. I feel like we're at a space now where there's like a lot of anonymous like actors out there, and they're doing rug projects. They're doing rug projects where they're just looking to get your money. With comedians, at least we're putting our faces out there. So even if they're rugging, their reputations like could be null and void. You know what I'm saying? So that's another aspect that like we need comedians and comedy in this space. So we could actually have a face for these projects and Web3. So we could, because honestly, with a comedian, they're most likely thinking long-term about their career. So they're not thinking about, hey, let me just do this fucking project, rug these suckers, peace out, I'm in the Bermudas, no one knows who I am.
Pull the rug.
Right. With a comedian, you're like, oh, okay, he's passionate about his project or her project. They're building an ecosystem. You know what? I'm going to buy this $10 piece and support them and see how it goes. And you know what? If they blow up, great for me. If not, you know what? At least I contributed my own way into this cool comedic content project. You know what I'm saying? So there's no guilt with it when it comes to that. Instead of like, oh, I just invested in this thing and then they disappeared.
Yeah, so I guess open this up. Is there anything downside or anything about the NFT infrastructure that still needs to be changed to open it up more to comedy?
I think
just like live performance in general, or?
It's like art in general. Like, the key is like to be story-centric, If, for example, content is king, as we say, So if you are writing a comedy routine, it has to be funny, obviously. So regardless of the form, you're gonna, experience the comedy routine. So either doing a live comedy show or in the metaverse. So I think the best way to put it there, is like keep writing keeps creating great jokes, and the rest follow.
Here's the thing, too, though. It needs to be easier to buy an NFT for, like, the regular people. And you know what? People are doing that. Like, the big brands are doing that, but, like, there needs to be, like, for the common person where it's, like, someone you could support, it needs to be easier for them, too, Because right now, it's like, I feel like we're at a 2 to 3 click space to buy an NFT. It should just be 1 right now. And, again, by next year, we need to make it like seamless where it's like, all right, I just bought your NFT with my credit card. Great. It's $10. Great. Awesome. And that's what's slowing down the space right now because it's just still too many clicks.
Yeah, so that's a good segue into your vending machine project. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, exactly. So Twisted Mirror, actually, we are proud to, my team and I, we are very happy to present our first collection of comedy NFTs.
Nice.
And you can buy them, with a regular credit card, fiat, currency at the, outside the venue here at the first European NFT vending machine. So, and all the proceeds would go to charity, so it's very good. So you just pop in your credit card in there, and for 10 quid you can get a nice comedy NFT or something else, obviously.
And when you say comedy NFT, what exactly are they getting?
So Twisted Mirror, we offer, obviously, we stream comedy films, series, and stand-up comedy. So our selection is like a bunch of like either frame of a series or like a clip of a funny sketch, or even a photograph or an autograph of a comic.
And a couple last questions. Who do you think is really doing it right besides Twisted Mirror in the comedy space?
Doing it right, what, in NFTs?
Yeah, like in the right direction or on the right path, and
I mean, it's
kind
still,
of really being innovative.
I mean, it's still early.
Yeah.
I hate that phrase, it's still early, but it's still early. And, like, I'm trying to do the best I can, but again, it's still early. I mean, you guys don't know who the fuck I am unless you're, know me personally. But it's still early, so I feel like... Yeah. Yes. Hopefully we'll see some of that upstate right there, all that. But the point is, like, right now, this is the time to create, okay? And it's wide open. It's the Wild West. And if you're funny, think about using NFTs to, like, express your funny, because it's wide open. The idea of NFTs are wide open. This is what makes it fun. This is why I'm into it, because you can make it whatever you want. So, again, we made some suggestions. Take that, spin it off, and do your own thing with it, Think about, like, what comedy is and, like, explode that, Because at the end of the day, comedy is about, like, overthrowing the standards and just making fun of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So just do it. Just create, do it, take NFTs, have fun. You want to make fun of NFTs in your NFT comedy project? Do that. Like, that's what, that's rock and roll, dude.
Yeah, so I guess, as one of the last questions is where we just throw out a bunch of hypotheticals of things we really don't know really the outcome of. What is the future of funny?
I think, let's go back to the basics, So sticky comedy clubs would still be there, and I love being, in a comedy club in a real life, So let's keep going there, in those comedy clubs, but also thinking about the future, like experiencing, like creating jokes in a metaverse, collaborating with people, like, even like, overseas, like, for example, you are based in London, you collaborate with a New York comic or in Japan or wherever, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's just Web3 in general is like, it's been stressed with other NFT panels is you really just need 1,000 people to be following you of your community to, make a living as an artist. So, yeah. I mean, I guess, have we touched on that? Revenue streams for comedians other than, selling their jokes or whatnot?
I mean, like, it's true, like... Oh, yeah. Thank you. Hello, yeah. So revenue stream wise, I think comedy NFT would be a new source of revenue, then from an NFT you could now, do you remember a couple of years ago from YouTube people were going to the cinema, so I think certain comic would be famous in a metaverse. They could jump onto TV series or streaming services and stuff, So I think there is a huge, I think there is a, everything has to be built yet. As you said, Todd, we are at the beginning of something big, and we shouldn't be afraid to experience, new stuff.
I think what two? Oh, yeah. Pass the mic. I think the future of funny will be sentient spam bots that tells jokes at you, whether you like it or not. So they'll be like, here's some comedy at you. And you're like, oh, no, I just want to.
Isn't that Twitter?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's going to be super spam bot Twitter. It's going to be great. They're going to force the jokes into your head via, telepathy or electric telepathy shocks. And that's like 2055 in Web 7. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we touched on this, like all new medium props up like new forms of comedy. How do you think that will change the dynamic where, you get, like during the pandemic, we were doing a lot of live streaming comedy and people were getting their starts in comedy just through live streaming without ever having touched foot on a comedy club stage. Anything involving that?
I think I think we could have an avatar, like a comic morph into an avatar. So you would have like Tupac, at Coachella as an hologram, rapping in front of an audience. So I think you could have George Carlin back, in a metaverse, as an avatar. Or you could create duet, like anything crazy like this, So I think it would be possible.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So,
Any other last takeaways before we make the pivot? Any other thing you would love to talk about that we haven't touched upon?
No, thank you very much, to the event organizers, NFT NYC, to organize this great event in London. And I'm very happy to be part of this comedy panel today. Thank you.
Yeah, Michael Thiery, guys. Michael Thiery. Yeah. Yeah.
Todd, any last takeaways before we make the pivot?
Oh, man, I can't wait for the pivot. I can't wait to see if the pivot's going to work here with the comedy, telling jokes where everyone's just like, okay. It's going to be fun.
Twist.
Oh, it's going to be fun, yeah. No, but I'm excited, man, and I'm glad that I'm here. This is my first time in London, so this is dope. Yeah. Whether or not NFTs brought me to London, so that's already a proof case, success rate, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and where can they find you guys?
Oh, everywhere online or physically here. Or at
Is there a more specific place?
At the bar, downstairs.
There you go. Alcoholics, just follow him literally in person and drink. You can follow me at Montikilla, Montikilla. I got my project PN and Friends. I got a comedy club in New York City, and we're going to expand and bring comedy shows all over the world. Just follow me at Montikilla, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Todd Montesi. Yeah.
And I can be found at Harmon Leon. And without further ado, we got it working.